You know what strikes me most about people who feel alone in this world? They're actually standing at the doorway of their greatest power and they don't even know it. Right now, in this very moment, if you're feeling like nobody's in your corner, like you're walking this path completely by yourself, I want you to understand something that will change everything for you. This isn't your weakness. This is your invitation to meet the most powerful ally you'll ever have in your entire life, and that ally is you. See, we've been conditioned to believe that we need other people to validate our dreams, to support our vision, to tell us we're good enough, smart enough, capable enough. And yes, support is beautiful when it comes, but what happens when it doesn't? What happens when the people you thought would stand beside you turn away? What happens when your family doesn't understand, when your friends think you're crazy, when the world seems to be saying no at every turn? Most people fold. They take it as a sign that they should give up, that maybe they were wrong all along, that perhaps they should just settle for whatever scraps life hands them. But you and I both know that's not why you're here. You're here because something inside you refuses to accept that story. There's a voice within you, maybe it's quiet right now, maybe it's been beaten down by disappointment and rejection, but it's still there. It's still whispering that you're meant for something more. And that voice, my friend, that voice is the only voice that matters. Let me tell you something about this universe we live in. It's not random. It's not chaotic. There's an intelligence that flows through everything, through every blade of grass, through every star in the sky, and through you. Yes, through you. This same intelligence that creates galaxies and orchestrates the seasons and causes a tiny seed to become a mighty oak tree, this same force lives inside you. And here's the beautiful part, you don't need anyone's permission to access it. You don't need anyone's approval to tap into it. It's already there, waiting for you to acknowledge it, to work with it, to let it guide you. When you feel alone, when you feel like nobody's supporting you, what's really happening is that you're being stripped of all the external crutches you've been leaning on. Those crutches were never your real support anyway. They were temporary, they were conditional, they were outside of you. Now you're being called to find the support that never leaves, the support that never fails, the support that is always there because it is you. It is the infinite power that animates you. You see, most people spend their entire lives looking outside themselves for answers. They look to their parents, to their partners, to their bosses, to society, asking, am I good enough? Am I doing the right thing? Do you approve of me? And they hand over their power piece by piece until one day they wake up and wonder why they feel so empty, so powerless, so lost. They've given away the very thing that makes them who they are. But standing alone, truly alone, forces you to turn inward. And when you turn inward, when you really go in there and meet yourself, you find something extraordinary. You find that you're not just this small, limited person struggling to make it in a harsh world. You're connected to everything. You're part of the same intelligence that creates worlds. You have access to infinite creativity, infinite wisdom, infinite strength, not because you're special, not because you're chosen, but because that's what you are. That's what every human being is. We've just forgotten it. We've been taught to forget it. So how do you get ahead when no one is there for you? You start by changing the entire premise of the question. You stop believing that you need someone there for you in order to succeed. You stop waiting for permission. You stop waiting for support. You stop waiting for someone to believe in you before you believe in yourself. You recognize that the waiting is what's been holding you back all along. Right now, today, you have everything you need to take the next step on your path. Not the step 5 years from now, not the final destination, but the very next step that's right in front of you. And you know what that step is. You might be pretending you don't know, because knowing means you'd have to take action, and taking action is scary when you feel alone. But you know, there's something you could do today, right now, that would move you forward. Maybe it's making that phone call you've been avoiding. Maybe it's starting that project you've been putting off. Maybe it's changing a habit that's been holding you back. Maybe it's just sitting in silence and listening to what your inner wisdom is trying to tell you. The reason you're not taking that step isn't because you lack support. It's because you lack the understanding that you are the support. You are the one who decides. You are the one who chooses. You are the one who creates. Nobody else can do this for you. Nobody else can live your life for you. Nobody else can walk your path for you. And that's not a burden, that's freedom. That's the most liberating thing I could ever tell you. When you truly get this, when you truly understand that your success, your happiness, your entire experience of life comes from within you, not from outside circumstances, not from other people, But from your own consciousness, from your own choices, from your own alignment with the creative force of the universe, everything changes, everything shifts. The whole game changes. You stop being a victim of your circumstances. You stop blaming others for your problems. You stop waiting for the world to give you what you want. Instead, you become a creator. You become someone who takes responsibility for their own life. You become someone who says, if it's going to be, it's up to me. Not in an egotistical way, not in a way that shuts out others, but in a way that acknowledges the truth of how this universe works. Let me share something with you about people who've accomplished great things. Every single one of them, and I mean every single one, faced periods where they stood completely alone, where nobody believed in them, where everyone thought they were crazy, where the world told them to give up. Thomas Edison was told he was too stupid to learn anything. Walt Disney was fired from a newspaper for lacking imagination. Oprah was told she wasn't fit for television. The Beatles were rejected by multiple record labels. Steven Spielberg was rejected from film school 3 times. What separated these people from everyone else wasn't talent, wasn't luck, wasn't support. It was their refusal to let external circumstances determine their internal state. It was their understanding that what they believed about themselves mattered more than what anyone else believed about them. It was their connection to something larger than their temporary situation, their connection to their purpose, to their vision, to the creative intelligence within them. And here's what you need to understand. You have that same power, you have that same potential, you have that same connection. The only difference between you and someone who's already achieved what you want to achieve is that they decided to trust themselves when nobody else did. They decided to move forward even when the path wasn't clear. They decided to believe in their vision even when it seemed impossible. You might be thinking, but what if I fail? What if I try and it doesn't work out? Let me ask you something. What if you don't try? What if you let fear and doubt and the lack of external support keep you from ever attempting to live your dream? Which failure is worse? The failure of trying and learning and growing and becoming stronger, or the failure of never trying at all and spending your life wondering what could have been? Fear is going to be there either way. Fear is part of being human. But you can feel fear and do it anyway. You can feel alone and move forward anyway. You can feel uncertain and take action anyway. Because here's the secret, and this is something I want you to really hear. Courage isn't the absence of fear. Courage is feeling the fear and doing what you need to do regardless. It's feeling alone and realizing you're connected to everything. It's feeling uncertain and trusting the process anyway. And let's talk about this idea of getting ahead, because I think we need to redefine what that means. So many people think getting ahead means beating other people, being better than others, climbing over others to reach the top. But that's not getting ahead. That's just feeding your ego. Real success, real advancement, real getting ahead means becoming more of who you truly are. It means growing into your potential. It means living in alignment with your values. It means making a contribution that matters. It means finding peace within yourself regardless of external circumstances. When you understand success this way, you realize that other people's support or lack thereof is completely irrelevant to your ability to succeed, because your success isn't dependent on them. It's dependent on you. It's dependent on your willingness to show up every day and do the work. It's dependent on your commitment to your vision. It's dependent on your faith in the process, in yourself, and the intelligence of the universe. Now, I'm not saying you should isolate yourself or that you don't need people. Humans are social creatures. We're meant to connect, to love, to support each other. But there's a huge difference between needing others and enjoying others. There's a huge difference between depending on external validation and appreciating encouragement when it comes. When you're grounded in yourself, when you're connected to your inner power, you can receive support from others as a gift, not as a necessity. And interestingly enough, when you're in that place, when you're not needy or desperate for validation, that's often when support starts showing up. But here's the key. It shows up after you've already made the commitment to yourself, after you've already started walking your path, after you've already demonstrated to the universe that you're serious, that you're committed, that you're going to do this with or without external support. The universe responds to commitment. It responds to action. It responds to faith. When you demonstrate those qualities, doors start opening that you didn't even know existed. So what does this look like practically? How do you actually get ahead when no one is there for you? You start with your mind. Everything begins with your thoughts. Right now, what are you telling yourself? Are you telling yourself that you're alone and unsupported and therefore doomed to fail? Or are you telling yourself that you're independent and self-sufficient and therefore unstoppable? The story you tell yourself becomes your reality. Every morning when you wake up, before you do anything else, spend time in silence. Connect with that power within you. Some people call it prayer, some call it meditation, some call it contemplation. It doesn't matter what you call it. What matters is that you take time to get still, to get quiet, to listen to that inner voice, to align yourself with your purpose, to remind yourself of who you truly are and what you're here to do. Throughout your day, watch your thoughts. When you catch yourself thinking limiting thoughts, thoughts about not being good enough, not having enough, not being supported enough, stop. Recognize that these thoughts are not serving you. They're not true. They're just habits, patterns you've picked up along the way. Replace them with thoughts that empower you. I have everything I need right now. I am guided by infinite intelligence. I am capable of handling whatever comes my way. I am creating my reality with every thought and action. Take action every single day toward your goals. Not massive action necessarily, just consistent action. One step at a time, one decision at a time, one choice at a time. Because it's the accumulation of these small daily actions that creates massive results over time. And when you're taking action, you're telling the universe, you're telling yourself that you're serious. You're committed. You're not just dreaming, you're doing. Stop complaining. Stop blaming. Stop making excuses. These activities are just ways of avoiding responsibility. They're ways of staying stuck. They're ways of giving your power away. Instead, when something goes wrong, when you face an obstacle, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I grow from this? What's the opportunity here? There's always an opportunity. There's always a lesson. There's always a way forward if you're willing to see it. Surround yourself with inspiration, even if you can't surround yourself with supportive people right now. Read books that uplift you. Listen to talks that inspire you. Watch content that motivates you. Fill your mind with ideas and stories and examples that remind you of what's possible. Because what you put into your mind matters. It shapes your beliefs, your expectations, your actions, your results. Take care of your body. You can't perform at your highest level if you're neglecting your physical health. Eat well. Move your body. Get enough sleep. These aren't luxuries. They're necessities. Your body is the vehicle through which you experience life and create your dreams. Honor it, respect it, care for it. And here's something that might surprise you. Help others. Even when you feel like you need help yourself, find ways to contribute to others. This doesn't mean neglecting your own needs. It means recognizing that giving and receiving are part of the same flow. When you help others, you remind yourself that you have value, that you have something to offer, that you're not just a taker but a giver. And that shift in identity is powerful. It moves you from scarcity to abundance, from victim to creator. Let go of resentment toward those who aren't supporting you. Holding on to anger or hurt or disappointment toward people who let you down doesn't hurt them. It hurts you. It keeps you tied to the past. It drains your energy. It blocks your progress. Forgiveness isn't about them. It's about you. It's about freeing yourself to move forward unencumbered by emotional baggage. Understand that people can only give what they have. If someone can't support you, it's not because you're not worthy of support. It's because they don't have the capacity to give it. Maybe they're dealing with their own struggles. Maybe they're limited by their own beliefs. Maybe they're scared of your success because it challenges their own choices. None of that is about you. Let them be where they are. Wish them well. And keep moving forward on your path. Trust the timing of your life. You might feel like you should be further along than you are. You might feel like time is running out. You might feel like everyone else is ahead of you. But there's no race. There's no competition. There's only your journey. And everything that's happened, including the times you felt alone and unsupported, has been preparing you for what's coming. The challenges you've faced have made you stronger. The rejection you've experienced has made you more resilient. The loneliness you've felt has made you more self-reliant. You're not behind. You're exactly where you need to be. Here's something else I want you to consider. Sometimes the lack of support you're experiencing is actually the universe's way of protecting you. Because if it was easy, if everyone supported you, if every door opened right away, you wouldn't develop the strength you need for what's ahead. You wouldn't develop the faith. You wouldn't develop the self-reliance. You wouldn't develop the character. And all of those qualities are more valuable than any external success you could achieve. Think about a tree. When a tree is grown in a greenhouse, protected from wind, it grows quickly, but its root system stays shallow. But when a tree grows in nature, buffeted by wind and storms, it develops a deep, strong root system that allows it to stand tall for decades or even centuries. The challenges don't weaken the tree, they strengthen it. The same is true for you. This time of feeling unsupported isn't weakening you, it's strengthening you in ways you can't even see yet. And you know what? One day you're going to look back on this time and you're going to be grateful for it. You're going to see how it shaped you, how it made you who you needed to become, how it prepared you for opportunities you couldn't have handled before. You're going to see that the apparent lack of support was actually life's way of teaching you to support yourself, to believe in yourself, to trust yourself. And that lesson is priceless. But you don't have to wait until then to appreciate this time. You can choose to appreciate it right now. You can choose to see the value in it right now. You can choose to be grateful for the opportunity to prove to yourself what you're capable of, to discover reserves of strength and courage you didn't know you had, to build a relationship with yourself that no one can ever take away from you, because ultimately, that's what this is all about. It's about coming home to yourself. It's about recognizing that everything you've been looking for outside of you has been inside of you all along. The love, the approval, the validation, the support, the strength, the wisdom, the power, it's all there. It's always been there. You just forgot to look. And when you reconnect with that, when you really feel it, when you know it in your bones, your whole life transforms. Not because your external circumstances necessarily change right away, although they often do, but because you change, your perception changes, your energy changes, your actions change, and therefore your results change. You stop being a person who needs the world to change in order to be happy. You become a person who's happy regardless of what the world is doing. You stop being a person who needs others to believe in you in order to believe in yourself. You become a person who believes in yourself so strongly that others' beliefs are irrelevant. You stop being a person who's at the mercy of circumstances. You become a person who creates circumstances. And here's the really beautiful part. When you become that person, when you're standing solid in your own power, connected to your own source, clear about your own path, something magical happens. People start showing up. Support starts appearing. Opportunities start presenting themselves. Not because you need them, but because you're ready for them. Not because you're desperate, but because you're aligned. Not because you're asking, but because you're radiating the energy that attracts. The universe always matches your frequency. When you're operating from fear and lack and neediness, you attract more situations that create fear and lack and neediness. But when you're operating from faith and abundance and self-sufficiency, you attract situations that reflect that energy. It's not magic, it's not wishful thinking. It's just how energy works. Like attracts like. So if you want to get ahead, if you want to succeed, if you want to create the life you dream of, stop looking for it outside of you. Stop waiting for someone to give you permission or support or validation. Start with you. Start with your mind. Start with your beliefs. Start with your daily choices. Start with your connection to the infinite intelligence that's within you and all around you. Every single day, wake up and ask yourself, what can I do today to move closer to my vision? Not what can someone else do for me, but what can I do? And then do it. Take that action, make that choice, have that conversation, write that page, make that call, do that workout, meditate, learn, grow, show up for yourself the way you wish someone else would show up for you. Because here's the truth that nobody wants to tell you. Nobody is coming to save you, not your parents, not your partner, not your friends, not some external force. You are the one you've been waiting for. You are the support you've been seeking. You are the answer to your own prayers. And once you really get that, once you really own that, once you really step into that power, there's nothing you can't accomplish. Does that mean it's easy? No. Does that mean there won't be challenges? No. Does that mean you won't have moments of doubt and fear and loneliness? No. But it means you'll be able to face those moments with a strength you never knew you had. It means you'll be able to keep going when others would quit. It means you'll be able to create something meaningful and beautiful and true, regardless of whether anyone else understands or supports or approves. And that, my friend, is real freedom. That's real power. That's real success. Not the external trappings, not the applause, not the recognition, although those things might come, but the internal knowing that you can handle whatever life brings, that you can create what you want, that you're not at the mercy of circumstances or other people's opinions, that you're standing on solid ground because that ground is you. So right now, in this moment, I invite you to make a decision, not a decision to try harder or to hope things get better or to wait for support to show up, a decision to be your own support, a decision to trust yourself, a decision to connect with the power within you, a decision to take responsibility for your life and your choices and your results, a decision to stop being a victim and start being a creator. This decision doesn't require anyone else's agreement. It doesn't require perfect circumstances. It doesn't require confidence or certainty or clarity about exactly how everything is going to work out. It just requires a willingness to begin, a willingness to take one step, a willingness to say, yes, I'm going to do this, with or without support, with or without approval, with or without knowing how it all turns out. I'm going to do this because it matters to me, because I matter, because my dreams matter, because my life matters. And when you make that decision, really make it, not just think about it, but commit to it with every fiber of your being. Everything starts to shift. The way you see yourself shifts. The way you show up shifts. The energy you put out shifts. And the results you get shift. Not overnight, not magically, but gradually, consistently, inevitably. Think about water wearing away stone. It doesn't happen in a day, it doesn't happen in a week, but drop by drop, day after day, year after year, the water shapes the stone. Your daily choices, your daily thoughts, your daily actions, they're like those drops of water. They might not seem like much in the moment, but accumulated over time, they create massive change. They shape your destiny. So be patient with yourself. Be kind to yourself. Be gentle with yourself. But also be firm with yourself. Don't let yourself off the hook with excuses or complaints or victim stories. You're bigger than that. You're more powerful than that. You're more capable than that. And somewhere inside you, you know it. That's why you're still here. That's why you haven't given up. That's why something in you keeps pushing forward even when everything seems to be pushing back. Honor that part of yourself. Listen to that part of yourself. Trust that part of yourself. Because that part of yourself is connected to truth. It's connected to your purpose. It's connected to the creative intelligence of the universe. And it knows the way forward even when your conscious mind doesn't. Your job isn't to figure out every step of the path. Your job isn't to know exactly how everything is going to work out. Your job isn't to have all the answers or all the resources or all the support. Your job is simply to take the next step, to do what's in front of you, to stay connected to your purpose, to keep your vibration high, to think thoughts that empower you, to take actions that align with your vision, to trust that when you do your part, the universe will do its part. And I promise you, it will. Not in the way you expect necessarily, not in the timeline you want necessarily, but in the way that's perfect for you, for your growth, for your journey. Because the universe isn't trying to make things hard for you, it's trying to make you strong. It's trying to help you become who you need to be to live the life you want to live. Every challenge is an invitation to grow. Every obstacle is an opportunity to develop a new skill. Every moment of feeling alone is a chance to strengthen your connection with yourself. None of it is punishment. None of it is evidence that you're on the wrong path. It's all part of the process. It's all part of the transformation from who you've been to who you're becoming. And who you're becoming is magnificent. Who you're becoming is powerful. Who you're becoming is free. Free from the need for external validation. Free from the fear of standing alone. Free from limiting beliefs about what you can or can't do. Free to create, to express, to become, to experience life on your own terms. That freedom is your birthright. It's not something you have to earn. It's not something you have to be good enough for. It's already yours. You just have to claim it. You have to step into it. You have to own it. And you do that by changing your mind about who you are and what you're capable of. You're not just a physical body stumbling through a random universe hoping someone will help you along the way. You're an eternal spiritual being having a temporary human experience. You're connected to infinite intelligence. You're made of the same stuff as stars, You have access to unlimited creativity and unlimited potential. The only limits you have are the ones you accept in your mind, so stop accepting them. Stop agreeing with the voice that says you can't do it without help. Stop believing the story that you need someone else to believe in you before you can believe in yourself. Stop waiting for permission or approval or the perfect circumstances. Start believing in the power that's within you. Start trusting the intelligence that guides you. Start taking action on the dreams that call to you. Do it scared, do it alone, do it uncertain, but do it because the doing is what transforms you. The doing is what creates momentum. The doing is what demonstrates to yourself and to the universe that you're serious, that you're committed, that nothing is going to stop you. And when you live that way, when you show up with that level of commitment and faith and action, you become unstoppable. Not because everything goes perfectly, not because you never face challenges, but because nothing can shake you from your path. Nothing can make you doubt yourself. Nothing can convince you to give up. You found the support you were looking for, and it was inside you all along. This is how you get ahead when no one is there for you. You realize that you are always there for you. You are your own constant companion. You are your own greatest ally. You are your own most powerful resource. And when you truly understand that, when you truly live from that place, you don't just get ahead. You soar. You create. You inspire. You become the person you were always meant to be. So stand tall. Stand alone if you must, but stand. Know who you are. Know what you're capable of. Know that you're connected to something far greater than yourself, yet that something expresses itself through you. You are the universe in human form. You are infinite potential wrapped in skin. You are everything you need, everything you've been looking for, everything you'll ever need. Now go out there and prove it to yourself. Not to anyone else, to yourself. Take that next step. Make that next choice. Live that next moment from a place of power, not victimhood. From a place of faith, not fear. From a place of knowing, not doubting. And watch what happens. Watch how your life transforms. Watch how opportunities appear. Watch how support shows up. Watch how you become the person you always knew you could be. This is your time. This is your moment. This is your life. And nobody can live it for you. Nobody can create your dreams for you. Nobody can walk your path for you. Only you can do that. So do it. Do it with everything you have. Do it knowing that you're supported by the greatest power in the universe, the power that lives within you, that is you, that has always been you. You've got this. Not because I say so. Not because anyone says so. But because it's true, because it's who you are, because it's what you're capable of. Now go show the world, go show yourself what happens when someone stops waiting for support and starts being their own support. Go show everyone what's possible when someone trusts themselves completely. Go create a life so beautiful, so meaningful, so authentic that it inspires others to do the same. This is how you get ahead when no one is there for you. You become everything you need. And in the process, you become more than you ever thought possible. The journey starts now. The power is within you. The choice is yours. Make it count. You know, there comes a moment in every person's life when you realize that everything you've been searching for, everything you've been trying to control, everything you've been worrying about is already taken care of. There's a force in this universe, a divine intelligence that created you, that brought you into this world, and that same force hasn't abandoned you. It's right here, right now, in this very moment, waiting for you to recognize it, waiting for you to align yourself with it, waiting for you to surrender to its infinite wisdom. When I talk about seeking God's plan, I'm not talking about some distant concept that lives in buildings or books alone. I'm talking about something that's alive within you right now. It's in every breath you take, in every beat of your heart, in every cell of your body that knows exactly what to do without you having to think about it. Your heart doesn't ask for permission to beat. Your lungs don't question whether they should breathe. There's an intelligence running through you that's far greater than your ego, far greater than your worries, far greater than all your plans and schemes. Most of us spend our entire lives trying to force things to happen. We push, we struggle, we manipulate, we control. We wake up in the morning with our list of demands for the universe. We want this job, we want that relationship, we want this amount of money, we want that kind of recognition. And then we wonder why we're exhausted. We wonder why we're anxious. We wonder why, despite all our efforts, things don't seem to work out the way we planned. The reason is simple. We're trying to do God's job. We're trying to be the author of a story that's already been written with love, with purpose, with infinite care. When you really stop and think about it, isn't it remarkable that you're here at all? Consider the odds. Consider the millions of ancestors who had to meet, who had to survive, who had to bring forth the next generation, all leading to this moment, to you, sitting here right now. You are not an accident. You are not a mistake. You are not here by random chance. You are an intentional creation of the divine source, and you have a purpose that's uniquely yours. Nobody else can fulfill your purpose. Nobody else has your combination of gifts, experiences, challenges, and opportunities. But here's what happens to most people. They forget this truth. They get caught up in the illusion that they're separate from God, separate from the source, separate from this divine intelligence. They start believing that they're alone, that they have to figure everything out by themselves, that their survival depends entirely on their own efforts. And this belief creates fear, it creates anxiety, it creates a sense of lack. Because when you believe you're separate from the infinite, you automatically feel finite. You feel limited. You feel like there's not enough, like you're not enough, like you have to fight for every scrap of goodness that comes your way. This is not the truth of who you are. The truth is that you are connected to an unlimited source of love, wisdom, creativity, and power. The same force that creates galaxies, that transforms seeds into trees, that orchestrates the changing of seasons, that heals cuts on your skin without you having to think about it. This same force is working in your life right now. It's working for you, through you, and as you. But you have to get out of your own way. You have to stop insisting that things happen according to your limited understanding and start trusting that there's a bigger plan unfolding. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. You're thinking, but I've tried trusting, I've tried having faith, and terrible things still happened. I prayed and my prayers weren't answered. I believed and I was disappointed. I understand this. I truly do. But let me ask you something. When you were praying, when you were asking, were you telling God what you wanted? Or were you asking to understand what God wants for you? There's a huge difference. When you pray with demands, you're operating from ego. You're saying, I know better than the universe. I know exactly what I need. But when you pray with openness, when you say, thy will be done, you're acknowledging that there's a wisdom greater than your own, a perspective wider than your limited view, a love deeper than you can comprehend. Think about a small child who wants to eat candy for every meal. The child doesn't understand nutrition. The child doesn't understand that candy for breakfast, lunch, and dinner will make them sick. The child just knows what tastes good in the moment. And when a loving parent says no, when that parent provides healthy food instead, the child might cry. The child might feel like their desires aren't being met. But the parent isn't being cruel. The parent is acting from wisdom, from understanding, from a love that sees the bigger picture. This is how God works in your life. Sometimes what you think you want isn't what you need. Sometimes the delays, the detours, the disappointments, they're all protecting you from something or preparing you for something better. I've seen this in my own life countless times. Doors that I desperately wanted to walk through slammed shut in my face. And at the time, I felt devastated. I felt rejected. I felt like my prayers weren't being heard. But years later, looking back, I could see clearly that if those doors had opened, I would have walked into situations that weren't right for me. I would have gotten stuck in places that would have prevented me from reaching my true purpose. The universe wasn't saying no to me. It was saying not that, because there's something better waiting for you. This is where faith comes in. Faith isn't about having proof. Faith isn't about knowing exactly how things will work out. Faith is about trusting, even when you can't see the full picture. It's about believing that you're being guided even when the path seems dark. It's about knowing that you're being supported even when you feel alone. And this kind of faith, this unshakable trust in divine guidance, this is what transforms your life. This is what opens doors that you didn't even know existed. This is what brings miracles into your experience. But you have to understand something crucial. Faith without action is just wishful thinking. God's plan for you isn't something that happens to you while you sit passively on the couch waiting for lightning to strike. God's plan unfolds through you. It manifests through your choices, your actions, your willingness to show up and do your part. You have to meet the universe halfway. You have to say yes when opportunities present themselves. You have to be willing to take risks, to step into the unknown, to follow that quiet voice inside you that says, go this way. So many people are waiting for a burning bush moment, waiting for God to appear in some dramatic fashion and hand them a detailed instruction manual for their life. But that's not how it works. God speaks in whispers. God speaks through intuition, through synchronicity, through those subtle nudges that say, call this person, or take this class, or move to this city. When you learn to listen to these whispers, when you learn to trust these inner promptings, you align yourself with God's plan. You become a co-creator with the divine. And let me tell you about healing, because this is so important. So many people are walking around carrying pain, carrying trauma, carrying wounds from the past. They've been hurt by others. They've been disappointed by life. They've made mistakes that they can't forgive themselves for. And this pain, it's like a weight they carry everywhere they go. It colors everything they see. It limits what they believe is possible for them. They think this pain is just part of who they are now, that it's permanent, that they're damaged beyond repair. But healing is always available to you, always. No matter what you've been through, no matter what's been done to you or what you've done to yourself, healing is your birthright. It's not something you have to earn. It's not something you have to be worthy of. It's simply waiting for you to accept it, to allow it, to open yourself to it. And the key to healing is forgiveness. Not because the people who hurt you deserve forgiveness, but because you deserve peace. You deserve freedom. You deserve to stop carrying that weight. When you hold on to anger, when you hold on to resentment, when you hold on to the desire for revenge, you're not hurting the person who wronged you, you're hurting yourself. It's like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Every moment you spend replaying the past, rehearsing your grievances, reinforcing your victimhood, is a moment you're not available for the goodness that's trying to reach you now. The past is over. It has no power over you except the power you give it through your attention, through your thoughts, through your refusal to let it go. Forgiveness doesn't mean what happened was okay. It doesn't mean you have to trust the person who hurt you or let them back into your life. Forgiveness simply means you're done carrying the burden. You're releasing the pain. You're choosing peace over punishment, love over hate, freedom over imprisonment. And when you do this, when you truly forgive, something miraculous happens. Space opens up inside you. Energy that was locked up in old grievances becomes available for new creation. You become lighter. You become freer. You become available for God's grace to flow through you. The same is true for forgiving yourself. Maybe you've done things you're ashamed of. Maybe you've hurt people. Maybe you've made choices that led to consequences you regret. I want you to understand something. You did the best you could with the awareness you had at the time. That's it. That's all anyone ever does. You're not the same person you were 5 years ago, or 10 years ago, or 20 years ago. You've grown, you've learned, you've evolved. To keep punishing yourself for who you used to be is insane. It's like refusing to eat today because you ate something bad last week. It makes no sense. God doesn't keep a record of your mistakes. God doesn't hold grudges. God is infinite love, infinite compassion, infinite forgiveness. The only one holding you prisoner to your past is you. And the moment you decide to forgive yourself, the moment you decide to see yourself as God sees you, as a beloved child who's learning and growing and doing your best, that's the moment true healing begins. That's the moment you step into the fullness of who you really are. Now, let's talk about what it actually means to seek God's plan. It's not complicated. It doesn't require you to be a scholar or a saint. It simply requires willingness to be guided, willingness to let go of your insistence that things happen your way, willingness to consider that there might be a better way, a higher way, a way that serves not just your individual desires, but the highest good of all. You seek God's plan by starting your day with this intention. Before you get caught up in emails and obligations and the demands of the world, you take a few moments to connect with Source. You don't have to use fancy words. You don't have to recite memorized prayers unless that resonates with you. You simply say, help me, guide me, show me what you would have me do today. Use me as an instrument of your love. That's it, simple, direct, honest. And then throughout the day, you stay alert to guidance. You notice the coincidences that aren't really coincidences. You pay attention to the people who cross your path. You listen to that inner knowing that tells you when something is right or when something is off. You don't override your intuition with logic and rationalization. You trust it. You follow it. You let it lead you. This doesn't mean you stop using your mind. It doesn't mean you stop planning or being responsible. It just means you hold your plans lightly. You stay flexible. You remain open to course corrections. You understand that your job is to show up, to do your best, to act with integrity and love, and then to surrender the results. The outcome isn't your responsibility. Your responsibility is the effort, the intention, the love you bring to each moment. The outcome is God's responsibility. And here's what's so beautiful about living this way. The pressure comes off. You stop carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. You stop thinking everything depends on you. You realize you're part of a much larger process, a divine unfolding that's been happening since the beginning of time and will continue long after you're gone. Your part is important, yes. You matter, absolutely. But you're not alone in this. You're supported, you're guided, you're loved beyond measure. When you really get this, when you really understand that you're living in a friendly universe that wants you to succeed, that wants you to be happy, that wants you to fulfill your purpose, everything changes. Fear loses its grip on you. Anxiety decreases. You stop trying to control every little detail and start flowing with life instead of against it. You become like water, which doesn't struggle against obstacles, but simply finds a way around them, through them, over them. Water is soft and flexible, yet over time it carves through solid rock. This is the power of surrender, of trust, of alignment with God's plan. I want to talk to you about the power of prayer, because I think many people misunderstand what prayer really is. Prayer is not begging. It's not pleading with some distant deity who may or may not be listening. Prayer is communication with the divine intelligence that lives within you and all around you. It's tuning your frequency to match the frequency of love, of abundance, of wholeness. When you pray, you're not trying to change God's mind. You're changing your own mind. You're shifting your perception from fear to love, from lack to abundance, from illness to wholeness. True prayer is affirmative. It's not, please give me this thing that I don't have. It's thank you for this thing that's already mine in the spiritual realm and is now manifesting in the physical realm. You see the difference? One comes from a consciousness of lack. The other comes from a consciousness of abundance. One is begging. The other is claiming what's already yours. When you pray for healing, you don't pray as if you're sick and hoping to get better. You pray from the understanding that wholeness is your natural state, that health is your divine right, that the same intelligence that created your body knows exactly how to heal your body. You align yourself with this truth. You give thanks for the healing that's already taking place, even if you can't see it yet. You trust the process. You support it with right action, with proper care, with positive thoughts, but you don't doubt it. You know it's happening. And you know what? This kind of faith, this kind of absolute trust, this creates the conditions for miracles, not because you're forcing God to do something, but because you're removing the blocks that were preventing the natural flow of divine energy through you. It's like cleaning the dirt off a window. The sun was always there, always shining, but you couldn't see it because the window was dirty. When you clean the window, suddenly light pours in. This is what prayer does. It cleans the window of your consciousness so that God's light can shine through. Let me tell you something that might challenge you a bit. Every problem you have, every challenge you face, every difficulty in your life is actually a spiritual assignment. It's an opportunity for growth, for learning, for evolution. Nothing is happening to you. It's all happening for you. The universe is not punishing you, it's teaching you, it's stretching you, it's preparing you for something greater. When you shift your perspective like this, when you start asking, what is this here to teach me, instead of why is this happening to me, everything transforms. You stop being a victim. You become a student. And every challenge becomes interesting instead of devastating. You start to see the gifts hidden in the difficulties. You start to recognize that your greatest strengths often come from your greatest struggles. The things you went through that nearly broke you, they made you who you are today. They gave you depth, compassion, wisdom, resilience. They're not mistakes. They're part of your curriculum in this school called life. God's plan for you includes both the mountaintops and the valleys. Both are necessary. You can't appreciate the light without experiencing the darkness. You can't develop courage without facing fear. You can't learn compassion without experiencing pain. So don't resent the difficult times. Don't waste energy asking, why me? Instead, stand up straight and say, I can handle this. I'm stronger than I know. And there's something valuable here for me to learn. This brings me to something really important, the role of gratitude in seeking God's plan. Gratitude is not just a nice thing to do. It's not just about being polite or positive. Gratitude is a powerful spiritual practice that completely shifts your energy and opens you to receive more blessings. When you focus on what you're grateful for, you're acknowledging the abundance that's already in your life. You're saying yes to goodness. You're tuning your frequency to match the frequency of more goodness. The universe responds to gratitude like a garden responds to water. What you appreciate, appreciates. What you focus on, expands. If you walk around all day noticing everything that's wrong, everything that's missing, everything that's not working, you'll get more of that. But if you train yourself to notice the blessings, to acknowledge the gifts, to recognize the miracles, both big and small, that are happening all around you all the time, you'll get more of that too. Start your morning with gratitude before your feet hit the floor, before you check your phone, before you start thinking about your problems. Take a moment to say thank you. Thank you for this breath. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this body that works. Thank you for the roof over my head. Thank you for the people who love me. Thank you for food to eat. Thank you for challenges that help me grow. Thank you for the opportunity to make a difference today. Just a few moments of genuine gratitude can completely change the trajectory of your day. And end your day with gratitude too. Review your day and find the blessings. Maybe something wonderful happened. Maybe you had a difficulty, but you handled it well. Maybe you learned something. Maybe you helped someone. Maybe you simply survived a tough day, and that in itself is worth celebrating. Every single day contains gifts if you're willing to look for them. Now, I want to address something that stops so many people from fully trusting in God's plan, the need to know how and when. We want guarantees. We want to see the entire path laid out before us before we're willing to take the first step. We want to know that if we do this, we'll definitely get that. We want certainty in an uncertain world. And this need for control, this insistence on knowing all the details in advance, this keeps us stuck. Think about it. When you were born, you didn't know how to walk. But did you refuse to try because you couldn't see the whole process? No, you just started. You fell down. You got back up. You fell down again. You kept trying. And eventually, without knowing the mechanics of balance and movement, without understanding the physics involved, you learned to walk. This is how life works. You don't need to see the whole staircase. You just need to take the first step. God's plan for you unfolds one step at a time. You get the next instruction when you complete the current one. You get the next piece when you've integrated this one. It's like driving at night with your headlights on. You can only see about 200 feet ahead, but you don't need to see all the way to your destination. You just need to see far enough to take the next section of road, and then the next section appears, and then the next. This is faith. This is trust. This is how you move forward even when you can't see the whole path. And let me tell you, when you live this way, when you stop demanding guarantees and start trusting the process, life becomes an adventure instead of a burden. Every day brings new possibilities. Every moment is fresh. You're not locked into one rigid plan that has to work out exactly as you imagined it, or you'll be devastated. You're flowing. You're dancing with life. You're co-creating with the universe. And this, my friend, this is true freedom. I also want to talk about the importance of listening to your body, because your body is constantly giving you messages from God. When you feel peace, when you feel expanded, when you feel energized by something, that's a yes from the universe. When you feel contracted, when you feel drained, when you feel anxious about something, that's important information too. Your body doesn't lie. Your mind can rationalize and justify and convince you of all kinds of things, but your body knows the truth. So many people ignore the wisdom of their bodies. They push through exhaustion. They override their intuition with logic. They stay in situations that make them physically sick because they think they should, because they made a commitment, because other people expect it. But God gave you this body as a guidance system. It's constantly communicating with you. When you're aligned with your true path, you feel good. You feel energized. Even when you're working hard, there's a sense of rightness about it. When you're off track, when you're forcing something that's not meant for you, your body rebels. It gets tense. It gets sick. It breaks down. Start paying attention. When you're considering a decision, notice how your body responds. Does your chest open or close? Do you feel lighter or heavier? Do you breathe more easily, or does your breath get shallow? Your body knows what your mind might not want to admit. Trust it. Honor it. Let it guide you back to alignment with God's plan for you. And here's something that might surprise you. God's plan for you includes joy. It includes pleasure. It includes fun. So many people think that spirituality means suffering, that to be holy you have to be miserable, that God wants you to sacrifice and struggle and deny yourself. This is absolutely false. God is joy. God is love. God is creativity and beauty and laughter and celebration. God wants you to thrive, not just survive. When you're doing what you're meant to do, when you're aligned with your purpose, it doesn't feel like drudgery. It feels like play. Yes, there's effort involved. Yes, there are challenges, but there's also deep satisfaction. There's a sense of, this is what I'm here for. You lose track of time. You forget to check your phone. You're fully present, fully engaged, fully alive. This is the feeling of being in the flow, of being in alignment with divine will. If you're spending your days in activities that drain you, that bore you, that make you constantly check the clock waiting for them to be over, you're not living God's plan for your life. You might be living someone else's expectations. You might be living society's definition of success. You might be living out old conditioning about what you should do, but you're not living your truth. And yes, I know, you have responsibilities. You have bills to pay. You have people depending on you. I'm not suggesting you quit your job tomorrow with no plan. What I'm suggesting is that you start listening to that voice inside you that knows there's something more for you. Start taking small steps toward what lights you up. Start saying no to things that don't align with your truth and yes to things that do. Start trusting that as you move toward your purpose, the universe will support you. Doors will open. Resources will appear. People will show up to help. This is how it works when you're aligned with God's plan. Let me tell you about the concept of surrender, because this is where so many people get confused. Surrender doesn't mean giving up. It doesn't mean being passive or lazy or irresponsible. Surrender means releasing your attachment to specific outcomes. It means doing your absolute best and then letting go of the results. It means understanding that you control your efforts but not the outcome. It means trusting that whatever happens is exactly what's supposed to happen, even if it's not what you wanted or expected. This is incredibly freeing once you get it. You pour your heart and soul into your work, into your relationships, into your creative projects, but you don't measure your worth by the results. You don't fall apart if things don't work out the way you planned. You recognize that there are forces at play beyond your understanding, that there's a timing to everything, that what seems like a failure right now might be redirecting you towards something better. When you surrender in this way, when you do your part and trust God to do God's part, the struggle stops. The resistance stops. You're no longer fighting against reality. You're accepting what is and working with it instead of against it. This doesn't mean you don't have preferences. It doesn't mean you don't have goals. It just means you hold them lightly. You move toward them with effort and enthusiasm, but you're not attached. You're open to something even better. Showing up. I want to talk to you about the power of meditation and quiet time, because this is how you hear God's voice most clearly. In our modern world, we're constantly bombarded with noise. The television is on, the phone is beeping, the computer is dinging, people are talking, music is playing. We fill every moment with distraction. And in all this noise, that still small voice inside you, that divine guidance, it gets drowned out. You need silence. You need stillness. You need time when you're not consuming information or entertainment, when you're not talking or listening to others talk, when you're simply being. This is when inspiration comes. This is when solutions appear. This is when you hear the whispers of your soul telling you which way to go. Even 10 minutes a day of sitting quietly can transform your life. You don't have to do it perfectly. You don't have to empty your mind of all thoughts. You just sit. You breathe. You notice. You allow. And gradually, over time, you start to recognize a difference between the voice of your ego and the voice of your higher self. The ego is loud. demanding, fearful, urgent. The higher self is quiet, patient, loving, certain. The ego says, you better do this or else. The higher self says, consider this possibility. The ego creates chaos. The higher self creates peace. The more you practice stillness, the more you're able to access this inner guidance, even in the midst of a busy day. You're having a conversation and suddenly you know exactly what to say. You're facing a decision and suddenly you have clarity. You're confused about a situation and suddenly you understand. This is God speaking to you, through you, as you. This is what it means to be guided. And let me share something profound with you. God's plan for your life is not just about you. It's about everyone your life touches. You're not here just for your own fulfillment, your own happiness, your own success. You're here to be a light for others. You're here to contribute something that only you can contribute. You're here to make a difference. When you align with God's plan, when you step into your purpose, you automatically become a blessing to others. Your presence uplifts people. Your words inspire people. Your example shows people what's possible. You don't have to try to be helpful. You don't have to force it. It just naturally flows through you when you're living your truth. Think about the people who've made the biggest difference in your life. Chances are they weren't trying to be helpful. They were just being themselves. They were living their truth. They were expressing their gifts. And in doing so, they touched you. They changed you. They helped you see something you couldn't see before. This is what you're here to do for others. But you can't give what you don't have. You can't be a light for others if your own light is dim. This is why taking care of yourself, why seeking your own healing, why aligning with God's plan for your life, this isn't selfish. It's necessary. It's how you become capable of truly serving others. Not from a place of depletion and martyrdom, but from a place of overflow and joy. When you're filled up, when you're connected to Source, when you're living in alignment with your purpose, you have so much to give. It pours out of you naturally. You don't have to force yourself to be kind or patient or generous. It just happens. This is the difference between service that depletes you and service that energizes you. One comes from ego, from trying to prove your worth, from seeking approval. The other comes from spirit, from knowing your worth, from simply being who you are. Now let's talk about persistence and patience. Because seeking God's plan isn't always a straight line. Sometimes you'll feel connected and guided and on track. Other times you'll feel lost and confused and wonder if you're making it all up. This is normal. This is part of the process. Don't let the difficult moments convince you that you're doing something wrong or that God has abandoned you. When you plant a seed in the ground, there's a period where nothing visible is happening. The seed is underground, in the dark, and if you didn't know better, you might think nothing is growing. But beneath the surface, incredible things are happening. Roots are forming. Strength is building. The plant is preparing to break through the soil. You just have to keep watering it, keep having faith, keep trusting that the growth is happening even though you can't see it yet. This is how spiritual growth works too. There are times when you'll feel like nothing is happening, like you're not making progress, like your prayers aren't being answered. But God is always working. The seeds you've planted are always growing. The healing is always taking place. The guidance is always available. You just have to keep showing up. Keep doing your part. Keep trusting. And one day, often when you least expect it, you'll break through. You'll have a breakthrough. You'll look back and see how far you've come and you'll be amazed. Patience is so important here. We live in a culture of instant gratification. We want everything now. We want the microwave version of spiritual growth. But souls don't work on microwave time. They work on oak tree time. Slow, steady, strong growth that lasts. Don't compare your timeline to anyone else's. Don't judge yourself because someone else seems to be progressing faster than you. You're exactly where you need to be. You're learning exactly what you need to learn. Trust your timing. And when you do experience setbacks, when you do fall back into old patterns, when you do forget everything you've learned and find yourself in fear and worry again, be gentle with yourself. Growth is not linear. You're going to have ups and downs. You're going to have days when you feel like a spiritual master and days when you feel like a complete beginner. This doesn't mean you're failing. This means you're human. This means you're learning. The key is to keep coming back, keep returning to center, keep remembering the truth. Every time you catch yourself in fear and choose love instead, you're strengthening that muscle. Every time you notice you're trying to control everything and you choose to surrender instead, you're practicing faith. Every time you forgive Instead of holding a grudge, you're becoming more like God. This is the work. This is the path. Small choices, moment by moment, day by day, that gradually transform you from the inside out. I want to leave you with this final thought. You are not broken. You don't need to be fixed. You don't need to earn God's love. You already have it. You've always had it. You will always have it. There is nothing you can do to make God love you more, and there is nothing you can do to make God love you less. You are loved completely, unconditionally, eternally, exactly as you are right now. God's plan for you is not about becoming someone else. It's about becoming more fully yourself. It's about peeling away the layers of conditioning, the false beliefs, the masks you wear, and revealing the magnificent being you've always been underneath. You're not working toward wholeness. You're working from wholeness. You're not trying to get somewhere. You're waking up to the truth of where you already are. So today, right now, in this moment, make a choice. Choose to trust. Choose to have faith. Choose to believe that you're being guided, that you're being supported, that you're exactly where you need to be. Choose to see your life through the lens of love instead of fear. Choose to look for evidence of God's presence everywhere you go, and watch what happens. Watch how synchronicities start appearing. Watch how doors start opening. Watch how the right people start showing up at the right time. Watch how resources appear just when you need them. This is not magic. This is not wishful thinking. This is how the universe works when you align yourself with it instead of fighting against it. This is what's available to you when you stop trying to control everything and start trusting God's plan for your life. This is the peace that passes understanding. This is the joy that doesn't depend on circumstances. This is the love that heals all wounds. This is your birthright. This is your truth. This is who you really are. You are a divine being having a human experience. You are an expression of God in physical form. The same creative intelligence that spins planets in orbit and causes flowers to bloom is alive in you right now. Let it guide you. Let it heal you. Let it show you the way. Surrender to it. Trust it. Follow it. And watch as your life transforms into something more beautiful than you could have ever planned for yourself. This is God's plan for you. To wake up, to remember who you are, to live from love instead of fear, to express your unique gifts, to make a difference, to be happy, to be whole, to be free. Everything else is just details. Everything else will work itself out. You don't have to figure it all out. You just have to take the next step, and then the next, and then the next. One foot in front of the other, guided by love, supported by grace, held by infinite intelligence. You've got this. Not because you're doing it alone, but because you're never alone. God is with you, in you, as you, right now and always. Feel that presence. Trust that love, follow that light, and know with absolute certainty that you are exactly where you're supposed to be, learning exactly what you're supposed to learn, becoming exactly who you're meant to become. There are no mistakes. There are no accidents. There is only God's perfect plan unfolding in its perfect timing. So breathe, relax, let go, trust, have faith, be healed. And step forward into the magnificent life that's waiting for you, the life you were born to live, the life that's aligned with God's highest vision for you. It's already yours. You just have to claim it. You just have to say yes. You just have to surrender to the love that's been chasing you your whole life, waiting for you to turn around and receive it. This is your moment. This is your time. This is your life. Don't waste another second doubting yourself or God's plan for you. You are meant to be here. You are meant to thrive. You are meant to shine your light so brightly that others find their way home too. This is the truth. This is your purpose. This is God's plan for you. Now go live it.